Getting in my first brew of the summer, a little late in the year, but so far all I have going is some water. I'm doing an extract kit today. Going to boil up some water, add it to the extract, get ourselves some beer brewing. It's a bit of an old extract, so I'm going to just experiment with it and see if I can actually save it because it's quite old. I'll show you as I go. Alright, here's my extract no boil beer kit that I got from a buddy. It was in his basement. He says he doesn't know how long it was down there. I don't know how long it was down there either, but it was quite some time. So I am guessing, I'm going to zoom in if I can and get a zoom in on this. Not going to focus, I don't think. Not with this. Okay, so I'll read it off to you anyway so you can see what it says. You got 2002-0809. So I'm guessing that's 2002, 8th month, 9th day. So this is probably from 2002. Not sure on that. It could be from 09. Could be from 02. This could be the second batch of 02, month 08, year 09. I don't know when this is actually from. But what I'm going to do, because I'm worried about it being so old, and it could be very old, I'm not sure. I'll show you why I think it's old. There's a little bit of a sludge on the beer itself. We're not going to be able to see it like this. Maybe when I pour it we'll be able to see it. There's a little bit of a sludge on the side of a plastic bag inside of this box, and it just seems like it's been sitting in there for a while. Still liquidy, but just on the tops of the bag there's a little bit of sludge. So what I think I'll do, it's a Munich dark lager. So what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to boil it, just in case it's old and I don't know how it's going to taste. I'm going to boil it, which will probably kill off some of the hop flavors and aroma and such forth. So I have some hops that are also a little old. Hallout hops, I'm probably getting that name a little mispronounced, at 4.0 alpha, and some Saison at 3.2, and I think that's what these were, and I have some more back here. So I'm going to do this, I'm going to boil it with some hops to get some of the flavors back in there in case it's kind of gotten old and it's lost some of its hop flavors, and then I'm going to add some aroma hops. I'm going to use these for flavoring and these for aroma, and then I'm going to put it in the pale ale, and I'm going to drop some fresh yeast on it. This came with yeast and priming sugar, and I'm not going to use those. I don't know how they'll be. I have some yeast and priming sugar, and packets of yeast are cheap, so I might as well get a fresh packet of yeast and use that. And we're going to see how it tastes. I mean, no reason to throw it away. I have it all. It's free. I have keg to boil it in, just the water, and I had the pale ale to ferment it in. All I'm doing is using some hops that I had free from Anheuser-Busch. They gave away free hops this year. I had them in the freezer. They're leaf hops, whole hops. I'm going to throw them in there and see what this will do. If we get a fermentation going, heck, I'm willing to try it. Can't poison me. I'm boiling it all down. So, tell me what you think it's going to taste like. I'll let you know what it tastes like in the end. Talk to you guys later. Bye. Alright, so I've poured the entire kit in. There isn't much left here, just a few droppings. It came out in a pretty liquid format, so there wasn't much sludge in there after all. I'm going to go ahead and open this up and see just how much actual sludge is still in the bag, if any. I mentioned there's a plastic bag inside here. Well, here's the plastic bag. And up in the top of here is where I was talking about, where I saw the sludge when I first opened it up. And it's a little bit. It's not much really, not as much as I thought it'd be. And there's still a little bit of beer down here. I obviously want to pour the rest of that in there. But it wasn't a plastic bag for a long time. I don't know if you can see, but look at even down in here. If that shows up, there's still some sludgy stuff in there. Well, what's a good beer without a little sludge, right? So, I'm going to pour all that in. Get all those good sugars out of there. And this is a no-boil kit, I will reiterate that. So, basically it tells you to... There's that slimy stuff that's coming out. Don't know what that is or how bad that'll be. Basically this kit tells you to pour that into a fermenter, add 2 gallons of water with a pH balance to clean it up and sanitize all your stuff, and then just ferment right there. So there's no boil in this kit. But, like I said, we're going to give it a try and see what we get. We won't add our hops, our first batch of hops, until we get a boil going. And I don't usually keep my lid on because I want to let boil off that aromas and stuff. But until I get that boil going, I'm going to leave that on. We'll get back to you once the rolling boil starts. Something else I wanted to show you real quick. This kit that I have here, the Brew House kit, which I believe is quite old. Like I said, either 2002 or 2009, I'm not sure. Had some ingredients and instructions that came with it. Had a priming sugar pack that came with it. Windsor Ale yeast. Doesn't specify what type of yeast it is, just Windsor Ale. Product of Canada. This is packet 1, which in the instructions says it's the pH balance for the water. I'm not going to add that because of how old it is. I don't know what it will do. I just don't think it's smart. I just begun boiling and I have good water here. I'm not worried about it. Has cleaning and sanitation instructions, which I do every time I brew because it's just the only way you can brew. Tells you the different things you can use for cleaning. Doesn't supply you with any cleaning, but one of the options is bleach. You know, your standard stuff that you can clean with. And then it has this premium all grain beer kit. Now there's no grain in here, we all know that. We just saw me pour it all out as liquid. But it does call it a premium all grain kit, so obviously this is all made from grain, at least it says it is. And then it has some instructions on how to brew. The neat thing about this is that they show it being brewed in a bucket and primed in a bucket and everything. But they have this little section here. It's a little pop-out section, and I haven't popped it out yet, but I want to show you. Little circle. It pops out right here at the top, punched out. I guess it's not the greatest, but it works. For you to put over your carboy. So you can leave this on the carboy while it's fermenting. So it says remove on it. So you know, you just slap that over the top of your carboy, and then you have all your instructions right there with your carboy. And you know, I don't know if it tells the flavor. No, it doesn't tell the flavor, but you could easily, you know, just as easily while you're doing this. Beer style, it says right there, write it in. Date code from yeast packet, which I don't see a date or code from the yeast packet, so I don't know why they put that on there. Starting gravities. You know, let you fill in some of your stuff. Date and code went into the secondary. When you primed it in the bottles. Stuff like that. Some places you can fill in the blanks. So it's kind of a neat little sheet. It's also in, I think, French. Bière Trout Grain de Première Qualité. I don't speak French, I'm sorry. But I think French on one side and English on the other side. And here's what caught my attention, and this is why I think this is 2002. The printing of this is 1997. So that's why I think if this was printed in 1997, this must be, at the earliest, 2002. I don't think it's 2009. Because I would think you'd reprint the instructions or come up with some new instructions by the time 2009 rolled around. If you had originally created these instructions in 1997. And over here it says 0699, so that may have been when this actual went through the printing press, they updated it. But I think this is from 2002, and that is why I'm bringing it to a boil. To kill off anything that might have bacteria that might have started living in it. And I may ruin the beer in the process of boiling. I don't know, but we're going to find out. Real quick here before it comes to a boil. It's starting to steam, but I want to show you something. I got my white spoon out so you can see this against the white spoon, or paddle I should say. I'm just kind of scraping the top of what's floating on top of here. I want to show you what I've got. It looks like strands of something. I don't know what that is, and I'm not sure if I want to. It obviously looks like something growing. So I may want to scrape all that off. I don't know. It smells good. So whatever it is, it smells like beer. But you can see, I don't know how good the camera's picking this up, but there's little strands of like yeast growth or something. And that probably, and there's a lot of it in here too. So I may scrape that off, just because it doesn't look like something that should be in beer. But it's kind of nasty. And it's going to make it hard for me to drink this beer. Just knowing that this is in here. So, it kind of looks seaweedish. That's what I compare it to, brown seaweed. Alright, well, let's keep going. Alright, we've just reached our rolling boil, or at least a start to a boil. Just about a rolling boil. And I didn't take out the slop, the strains of stuff that we saw earlier. But I'm not sure if I'm going to until it's done boiling. I mean, we get stuff in there all the time with whole hops and stuff, and I have a strainer in the bottom of this. So I think whatever it is, it will strain out. And it's been in the beer for the last however many years. So I'm not too worried about it being in there for the boil. So I'm going to let her boil for a little bit here, about 5 minutes, and then I'm going to throw in the first batch of hops. And we'll keep you up to date as we go here. Alright. I'm putting my first batch of hops in. Got a good boil. It smells like some good grain going on there. So these are leaf hops. Oops, bag and all. Oops, did it again. Well, didn't hurt any, but so yeah, I didn't put them in anything. I just poured them right in. Like I said, I have a strainer in the bottom, and it tends to catch everything. So we'll deal with it as we go. Didn't want to make this a complicated brew day because I'm not sure it's going to work anyway. So I'm just trying to brew it through. I'm going to give that 45 minutes, and then I'm going to throw in the last batch for aroma. This is probably changing the beer style, obviously, because I'm not putting in the type of hops it needs. So what's it going to make? Your guess is as good as mine. Ooh, that's a hoppy smell. Not a big recipe person. I need to work on that more, making my own recipes. I tend to use already made recipes, so I need to work on making some of my own recipes and practicing with that a little more. But I haven't brewed that much this year, so, or in the last year. I brewed a lot for the first 2 years that I was brewing. Been brewing now probably 4 years. The first 2 years I got into it a whole bunch and started off in the extract and real quickly got into deciding that I wanted to do all grain. So I went out and started getting the equipment. I spent more time buying the equipment and making the equipment than I did actually learning how to make recipes, which is where I think I may have made a mistake, because I jumped right past all the recipe stuff and went right into all grain. Well, then I started buying all grain kits from places like More Beer or Midwest Supplies, Northern Brewers. Bought all my own grain kits already prepared for me. And I think I want to get into making my own kits a little more now. Buy a couple sacks of 2-row, start buying specialty grains as I need them, and there's a lot of places out there that tell you different styles of beer, so, and different types of kits, so that'll help me a lot. Like today, I didn't know, what these hops would be good for. Are they good for aroma? Are they good for flavoring? Are they good for bittering? So I don't know what I'm doing here a whole lot as far as that goes, and I want to learn that more, that section. If anybody has any good websites that tell you a lot about what's good recipes. I know there's a lot of beer recipe places out there, but the problem is they're loaded with hundreds and hundreds of recipes. I want to start off very generic and build on it. I want to find a very generic 5-ingredient beers, try those, and then experiment by adding some of my own additions to it and see what works. And something that maybe explains what's best to add flavor here, what's best to add to change the beer style just a little bit. I don't want to start off with these brews that have 15 different styles of grain and 4 different styles of hops, 5 different styles of hops. I want to try something simple and go on from there. So if anybody knows any good websites, or good books for that matter, put a comment below. Thanks.